Good afternoon. It's Tuesday afternoon. It's video time again. I've been doing a bit of thinking, with last week being Mental Health Awareness Week, as to how I've actually myself coped with what's been going on with the whole COVID-19 situation. And I've been kind of thinking about how it's affected me, but not necessarily in a negative way. It's given me an insight into some things that I'd never really thought of. Some things that are particularly relevant to a lot of the patients that we work with, and the kind of symptoms and problems that we've all been going through over the last few weeks are quite typical as to what somebody who is going through military rehab, or somebody who's coming to the end of their military time facing medical discharge, might actually have to cope with. And I've worked my whole life. Ever since I left school, I've gone out to work, apart from 3 years when I was at college. And to suddenly be told you're not allowed to go to work anymore. So back at the back end of March, when the government announcement was, basically don't go out unless you have to, my whole world came to a stop. And so did an awful lot of other people's world. I've never had a period in time where I've not been working. So I've never really understood what it's like to have that taken away from me. And this doesn't apply just to the military. This can be anybody who, through the course of illness or losing their job or whatever, how suddenly your world can change when everything you know gets taken away from you. So I'm never going to understand what it's like to have done a full sort of term of 22 years in the military, and then suddenly you get told, right, that's it, your services are no longer required. But in a very small scale, just having my entire way of life taken away from me, the ability to go outside and to work and to interact with people, it probably took me a couple of weeks to really get my head around the concept of that. And to be honest, if I wasn't able to go out in the garden and do some gardening and just get out and about, I think I would have probably gone round the bend, or at the very least driven my missus round the bend. So it's opened my eyes as to what it's like, only on a very small scale, when everything stops. And I think another interesting thing I've noticed that I've developed is a sense of hypervigilance. Not in an extreme way, like a lot of our patients who have to deal with it on a daily basis, but when you're out and about and you know that you can't come into contact with other people in close proximity, you do find that when you're outside, you're always scanning around, you're always looking, you're coming to turn a bend in a road, and you kind of will go out of your way so you can see round the bend to see where people are. And this constant scanning and this constant having to be aware of where you are relative to everything else, and obviously anybody is a perceived threat at this point in time. So it's, again, in a very small way, it's an insight into things that our patients potentially have to live with every day and will do for the rest of their lives. And again, I've fallen back on the being able to just go outside as a safety net, and then suddenly when that being able to go outside is also compromised, and you feel, I wouldn't say scared, but certainly uneasy about being outside, not knowing who you're going to come into contact with. Again, it's opened my eyes, and it's for me, whilst it's been hard, and I'm really happy to be back at work for a couple of days a week now, to be doing stuff again. It's been a really interesting period of time for me to learn and to try and understand and to empathise with what a lot of our patients must go through every single day. And I don't think horticulture on its own is ever gonna cure a lot of these problems, but certainly as a coping mechanism, I think these last few weeks have certainly reassured in my mind that what we're doing is right. And I know with certainly one of the patients that I've kept in contact with, ex-patient, I've kept in contact with, that he uses horticulture in a very positive way, and when things aren't good, it's the outdoors, it's the garden that they will turn to. So whilst a lot of what we do is physical rehab, and it always will be, to just understand how powerful it can be, even for me, has been quite an eye opener. So a little bit of a rambling email, but I wanted to. I tried writing it down, and it was a jumbled mess. So I thought, well, let's put it out there and see what other people have actually learned from this experience. What positive things have you taken from what, on the face of it, has been a very negative experience, or have you? I don't know. It strikes me, looking at the press, a lot of people haven't learned anything from this, and will go back to their old ways very quickly. For me, it's just given me that little bit more understanding, and it's made me a little bit more patient, and given me the desire to want to learn. And I think the more Jane and I can learn, the more we can help people. And I think it's been a interesting experience, shall we say. So I shall stop waffling on now. I'll be back probably sometime later in the week. And until then, I hope you're enjoying what is still the most beautiful weather outside. And I will speak to you all soon. So take care, stay safe, stay well. See you soon.